we're right and the next few months are marred by a real constitutional crisis, I think we owe it to ourselves to be prepared. My name is Alejandra Moreno. I'm an Oregon resident and the founder of the Speak Up Now campaign. 2020 has been absolutely chaotic, and the next few months will likely follow that trend. In order to protect ourselves pre- and post-election, we must claim the power we have in this process. Voting on November 3rd is key. We must register and turn out and make sure everyone in our circles does too. However, we cannot overlook the call to prepare and organize before the elections in case there's a need to mobilize after they occur. Organizers all across the country are working toward this, and this video is meant to get us all on the same page. The resources included here have various creators. I'm sharing these particular resources because I believe they fit well with one another, and when combined, can help us successfully protect our elections. No one is coming to save us. It is up to us to step up. I want to talk to you about what this looks like. In this video, I'll cover what I'm using as the foundation of this effort, the strategy behind it, the tools to make it happen, and an example of all of it at work. The Choose Democracy Pledge is where we start. The pledge has 4 parts. We're familiar with the first one, and efforts to increase voter registration and voter turnout are a constant in the national conversation. For this reason, I'll focus on points 2 through 4. The Transition Integrity Project warned in early August that the concept of election night is no longer accurate and indeed is dangerous. The winner may not, and they assess likely will not be known on election night as officials count mail-in ballots. This period of uncertainty is the reason we must all refuse to accept the results of the elections until all votes are counted. Points 3 and 4 are based on nonviolence and require the mass mobilization and non-cooperation of groups of individuals in order to shift the power balance. My personal commitment to nonviolence is a strategic decision, one that has proven effective countless times in efforts all over the world against power structures intent on overreaching. The good news is that we can all participate in this, and in fact, that's exactly what I'm advocating for. Let's look at power in terms of a tower. We'll call it the power tower. We must remember that power doesn't exist in a vacuum. It is held in place through the cooperation of various groups. But what happens when we remove cooperation from one group? The power tower weakens. And if we continue, eventually the power tower crumbles. We have to remember that no one in this country can have power if we refuse to give it to them. With the foundation and the strategy covered, we move on now to how to do this. And the best tool available right now is the Hold the Line guide. This guide was put together by a small group of researchers, organizers, and activists who have seen how people power movements have protected freedom and democracy around the world. The guide walks us through 4 parts. Part 1 covers critical actions we can take from now until Election Day. Part 2 lays out potential scenarios that could play out between Election Day on November 3rd and Inauguration Day on January 20th. Part 3 provides a 4-step process to start an election protection group. And Part 4 offers an in-depth analysis and model of change from the field of civil resistance. I recommend you read this guide, that you share it in your networks, and that you start thinking about how you can create or become a part of an election group. All of you together, using the resources shared here, can come up with a way to protect the elections from your community. If you want to learn more, I encourage you to attend a 2-day national workshop led by George Lakey and Zane Nakota of Training for Change. The How to Beat an Election-Related Power Grab workshop will happen on October 1st and October 6th. So we have the foundation, the nonviolent strategy, and the tools to use. What does it actually look like in our community? I could give you 1,000 different answers because it all depends on issues at hand in that particular community and the creativity of those that organize within it. I can give you the example of what I'm doing in my community. I launched the Speak Up Now, or SUN campaign with other Oregon residents because we were and continue to be incredibly concerned about the current political climate, both in our communities and nationwide. Our concerns specifically regard the vulnerability of our local, state, and national elections, as well as the systemic racism that continues to go unaddressed and drive inequality across the nation. As mentioned first in the Choose Democracy Pledge, we must all commit to voting, and in order to promote participation, Sun is organizing voter registration efforts in our community. Preparing for the other three may require delving into unfamiliar territory. But I promise you, our democracy is worth it. I hope that I'm wrong. And if I am, the worst that happened is that we became better organizers. But if I, along with the other hundreds of people that have sounded the alarm, if we're right, and the next few months are marred by a real constitutional crisis, I think we owe it to ourselves to be prepared. So in the same way this video served to get us all on the same page about what lies ahead, the public commitments demanded by the Speak Up Now campaign in Oregon are meant to get us on the same page with various powers in our state. We've identified 3 groups, and this is where we start because we consider them the current gatekeepers. We're calling on the media. The media has incredible power over the electorate and will be instrumental in managing public expectations around the elections. We must hold them accountable for doing so responsibly, and we therefore ask the media in Oregon to commit to the following. Next, we're calling on our elected officials. Our elected officials are entrusted with protecting the legal framework through which our individual votes on November 3rd get certified at the state level on December 14th and confirmed at the national level on January 6th. Our vigilance throughout this timeframe is necessary to protect the integrity of this democracy. We therefore ask our Oregon elected officials to commit to the following. And lastly, we're calling on the armed agents of the state. The police and the military are in place to protect us and the Constitution. Our stance is nonpartisan and nonviolent, and we demand a response in kind. We therefore ask armed agents of the state in Oregon to commit to the following. So why is the Speak Up Now campaign asking for these? These public commitments outline our expectations, and for the coming months, we will hold each of these groups accountable for their actions. We are using the next 6 weeks to build coalition and work together with one common goal: protecting our democracy. Remember the power tower? We have to bring as many sectors into the effort and acknowledge that none of us benefit from a broken democracy. It doesn't matter where you fall on the political spectrum. If we don't come together and claim the power we have in this process right now, it may be a long time before we're able to do so again.